I see you kids. Hola, mis amigos. Right now, as you can see, I am sitting in the middle of a river, okay? Does anyone know the Spanish word for river? Let me give you a hint. There is a movie that has this word as the title, and the movie has, the main characters are birds, and I think it's a Disney movie, and it takes place in Brazil, okay? I'll give you guys like 10 seconds to try to guess and whisper to your neighbor what the Spanish word for river is. Ready? Go. 3, 4, 5, 10. Okay, time's up. Anyone get it? Okay, the Spanish word for river is Rio. Rio, everyone say Rio. Great job. So my Spanish classes have been so much fun. And this weekend I am with some friends in the town of La Fortuna. La Fortuna, I think it's the Spanish word for fortune. But in this town there is a big volcano, and it actually sometimes still erupts. So that's very cool. Some of the other cool stuff that's here is our waterfalls and beautiful rivers like this one, and a lot of beautiful animals and birds. I love visiting here, but one of the things I love most about visiting is that I have got to meet a lot of very interesting people. And now that I'm learning Spanish, I get to be able to talk to people who speak English and who speak Spanish. It is tons of fun. And you know what? It is awesome to travel and to have new experiences, but sometimes it can be a little scary. Like yesterday, I had to ride a bus all by myself from Jaco, which is a village I'm staying in, all the way up to La Fortuna, and it was pretty scary to go by myself. Raise your hand if you've ever been scared to go somewhere. Maybe you've had to go without your parents. Maybe you've gone to camp before, or on the first day of school. Maybe it was scary to walk into your classroom and you didn't know anybody. Raise your hand if you've ever were scared on the first day of school. Or raise your hand if any of you have ever moved to a new place and had to say goodbye to all your friends and then had to go to somewhere new where you didn't know anybody. Yeah, some of you have moved. I didn't have to move until I was a grown-up. I lived in the same house my whole life. But when I was older, I started to travel a little bit more. First I went to college, and that was scary, and then I moved to Alaska for a while, and that was really scary. And today you're going to be learning a little bit about Paul. Thumbs up if you remember that guy whose name is Paul. His other name is Saul, and Saul and Paul are two ways of saying his name. If you were Jewish, you would say Saul, and if you were Greek, or if you didn't know how to speak Hebrew, you would probably say Paul. So Paul had to go to a lot of different places, and today you're going to learn about how brave he was to travel all over the world. And he wasn't just traveling because he wanted to. He wasn't going on vacation or doing anything else fun like that. He was traveling for a very specific reason. He was something. His job started with an M. Anyone want to guess what his job was? Some of you might know he was also a tent maker. Besides being a tent maker, what was Paul or Saul's job that God asked him to do? Okay? Whisper your guess to someone near you now. Go. Some of you, I bet, got it. His job was a missionary. Yes, and he had to travel all over the world to tell people about the good news, which is that Jesus Christ died for their sins and then rose again, so that we all get to live forever with God in heaven. And that is the best news in the world. So being a missionary is one of the best jobs in the world. Can you imagine if God was your boss? You don't really get a big paycheck sometimes, but some people might say there's a lot of jewels in your crown when you work for God. Sometimes pastors and other people who work in churches, they also kind of work for God in that way. But all of us get to be workers for God and missionaries when we tell people about Jesus who don't know about Jesus. It is one of the coolest things about being a Christian. We all get to work for God. But sometimes it's a little scary. So one of my absolute favorite verses in the Bible is Isaiah 41:10. And here's how it goes. God is speaking, and he says this to people, his people. He says, have no fear, for I am with you. Do not be afraid, because I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will give you help, and I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. I love that verse because no matter where I go, whether I'm in Costa Rica or Alaska or in Illinois, I know that God is always with me. And because I know that, I don't have to be afraid. I'm not afraid of what people will think about me, and I'm not afraid of what will happen to me because I know that when I love Jesus and when I give my life to him forever, then he takes care of me forever and ever and ever. And even if something bad were to happen to me right now on earth, I know that God has a place for me in heaven, and I will get to live with him forever. How cool is that? And because I don't have fear, because I know God is always with me, I get to try new things, like sitting in a river in the middle of Costa Rica. It is tons of fun. Sorry, I have some salt water in my lungs from surfing so much. Anyways, I will get to be back home in Illinois in 2 weeks, and I am so excited to see you guys. But while I'm gone, I hope that you continue to learn a lot about Paul and about how he was so brave for God. And I want to hear all about what you've learned when I come back, okay? All right, and let me teach you one more word before I go, okay? Let me think of a good word to learn. Okay, I got one. So a good word that makes me think of Paul is adventure, because Paul went on so many adventures. And the word in Spanish is really similar, okay? It's this word, aventura. Aventura. Can you try to say that? It's kind of like adventure, but with an A on the end. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. Aventura. Good job, guys. I miss you. I can't wait to see you soon. See you later.